I was just always wanting to create things and just sell them. So I said, I'm gonna come up with 4 letters. 4 letters that are gonna change the world and empower a culture, not a color. And I came up with FUBU, Forest Bias. And if you're wearing this across the street and I'm wearing it over here, we silently know that we all love hip hop. I love giving the knowledge to people to let them go out and become who they want to be and tell them, no, don't go out and borrow money. Use the power of broke. I like to see them work their way up. That's how I got it. Rise and grind. This is how you do it. I love educating people so they can go off and empower themselves.
So if you had the opportunity to ask Daymond John a question, what would it be? Well, you can ask him the question now.
How you guys doing? I wanted to come here and personally come and hang out with you guys. You ready? There you go. All right. I am gifting these 10 MacBook Pros, and I'm also going to gift my digital curriculum. It's called Daymond On Demand. I used to buy the shirts like Champion sweatshirts and put these FUBU patches over it. And then people started asking me, what's FUBU? Oh, man, you know, this is a little something, something. So I heard you have a couple of questions. Yes.
Is there like a minimum amount of money you need to have in order to start a business?
I started with $40. Don't listen to anybody else to tell you you can't make it. And understand that you're going to fail through the process, but that's only going to make you stronger. So I grew up in Hollis, Queens, suburb of New York City, and it was a lower middle class area. It was a great time, you know, when kids just would go outside and play on the block and play stickball.
As a child, he was very curious in a very good way.
In school, when I was in the first grade, I would go and find pencils, and I would scrape the paint off the pencils and paint the names of the prettiest girls in school on the pencils and go and sell it to the guys in school. But then I found out that the girls would pay 2 times the amount of money for the same exact pencils with their names on it. So I started selling the pencils to the girls.
I sent him to camp a couple of years. I think he was 15, 16, something like that. So I told him whatever money he could save up, I would match it so that he could buy a car. He came back from camp with $800. He would sell his sneakers, tell me, Mom, send me some more snacks. He was always about business.
Around 1984 to 1986, the community got divided.
Crack is to cocaine what an atom bomb is to a regular bomb.
Crack came into the community, and the only people that we could look up to were the big drug dealers. It got so bad in my neighborhood that a cop named Edward Burns was protecting a witness for a trial, and the drug dealers in my neighborhood would go and assassinate him.
Gunman killed him with 3 shotgun blasts early Friday.
I had to figure out another way to keep him busy all the time so that he wouldn't get involved in these drugs.
Most of my friends would go over to this part of our community and want to aspire to be these drug dealers, and many of my friends were dead or in jail at the age of 16 and 17. I was losing a friend every 3 months.
I'm DMC, in a place to be. I go to St. John's University.
But then all of a sudden we started to see, you know, these music artists driving by in the same neighborhood. They were just as wealthy or even more wealthy than these crack dealers, but they were selling music. It was LL Cool J, Run DMC, Salt and Pepper, Tribe Called Quest, Ja Rule, all of them are from Hollis, Queens. And I realized at that time, wait a minute, I can make money doing something I love, and I just wanted to be part of it. Hip-hop was this voice of the streets, and it was our version of today's Instagram or Twitter. And the kids were communicating through this music about their love, their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations.
We lived on a main street, Farmers Boulevard, and him and his friends would dance in the street when certain cars would pass.
Because of course, Run DMC was gonna pull over and go, wait a minute, I've been waiting for a dancer like you for all my life. Come on tour with me. That didn't happen.
He was a hip-hop kid, wore the clothes that the hip-hop generation wore.
During the time that rap started to really emerge, I would wear Reebok shoes, Fila. The Lees and Levi's, we would have to, if you had any money, you can go to the dry cleaner and get the tailor to put a permanent crease all the way down.
The idea with hip hop is to, show out and be seen. And you want to stand out in the crowd. So how do you do that? Well, you have to put your own spin on things. In hip hop, there's a lot of remix or sampling. Fashion is the same. So we took the brands that existed in those days and times and gave it our own spin.
I saw this tie top hat, and I couldn't find it anywhere in Manhattan.
He goes uptown and he brings back this ugly looking hat. It looked like a stocking cap.
Ma, look at this hat. I paid $20 for the hat, $6 in gas, and $37 in tolls.
I says, for that? Those aren't the words I used.
She said, go to the store, get $40 worth of fabric, you come back. I'm gonna show you how to sew hats just like that. So I would go out and stand on the corner of the Coliseum Mall on 165th Street in Jamaica, Queens on Good Friday, 1989 at 3 o'clock, and it was 42 degrees outside. And I would sell $800 worth of hats in 1 hour.
Daymond found a way to affordably make the hat and make a profit, which quickly showed him that there was a market, there was a need, and a customer.
That would turn my life from black and white into Technicolor. The concept of FUBU started materializing because we had heard that a boot company had said that we don't make our boots for drug dealers, and I just got pissed off. You just called me a drug dealer, and I'm a hardworking man at Red Lobster.
We were all sitting in Daymond's house just hanging out, and someone picked up the newspaper and saw it, and we're like, wow, why is it that every time a company starts to blow up and get rich off our back, then they want to turn around and say, we don't want you wearing our stuff.
Timberland must have thought that everybody in Jamaica, Queens were construction workers or mountain climbers.
For Daymond, it was about how do I create a brand that young people, that African-American youth can relate to and aspire, be proud of, because these brands prior to mine were not specifically catering to the urban youth.
But I came up with FUBU. For us, by us.
So there was a tremendous void in opportunities that these new entrepreneurs quickly saw and seized that moment.
I would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I would deliver as many hats as I could or t-shirts. I probably would need to get to Red Lobster about 2 o'clock. I would then come home and sew the labels on things or whatever until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
One of his partners, J. Alexander Martin, who had attended FIT, had learned about the magic show while being a college student. And he told Daymond that that was something they needed to participate in.
It's not pulling rabbits out of hats, it's Men's Apparel Guild in California. It's held in Nevada, don't ask me why. And this is where all the stores will go and buy all the products that you end up seeing in the stores.
Daymond and the FUBU guys didn't have the budget to be able to create a full-fledged exhibition at the magic show. They rented a suite at the Mirage Hotel in Las Vegas to show their apparel. And they would invite retailers to come and purchase goods.
Now, at that time, at the trade show, there were no African Americans. So it was pretty easy for the security to spot the 6 guys walking around with afros talking about, "Psst, I got some FUBU back in my hotel."
They were able to write up $300,000 in orders.
Oh yeah, that was on, baby, it's on. And then Daymond turns around and says, but I don't have no money to make $300,000 worth of goods.
I'd come on to my mother defeated and say I got turned down by 27 banks. And my mother would go, why don't we take all the money we can out of this house? You get the clothes made. Then you'll get the $300,000, you'll put the money back into the house, and we'll be okay. And my mother goes out and gets a $100,000 loan.
We were on 42nd Street, and I told him, you see those billboards and those big signs? I says, your name is gonna be up there one day.
My mother decided to move out. It takes 2 weeks to sell all the furniture we can in the house. Anything we can't sell, we chop it up and burn it in oil drums outside. I buy a bunch of industrial sewing machines, I buy a bunch of fabric, I hire a bunch of seamstresses, and my friends move in so that they can all pay $50 a week rent.
That first floor of the house, it looked like a factory for real.
I didn't know what I was doing. And the $100,000 is $500 left, and I'm 3 or 4 months late on the mortgage. I'm about to lose the house. I'm not delivering the clothes in time. The store's about to drop me. The competition is coming up. And my mother comes home and says, I have one last idea. Why don't we just take an ad in the newspaper? And the ad said, $1 million in orders, need financing.
A whole bunch of shady characters called, and Tony Two Fingers. And it was a whole mob of people that called.
I mean, brilliant. Who would think to put out an ad in a newspaper to say, hey, I can make you money. I've got these orders I have to fulfill. Will you be in partnership with me?
We wound up hooking up with Samsung, and that was like the best move that we could have did.
The first terms would be that I would have to sell $5 million worth of clothes in 3 years to keep the deal because they were going to set up supply chains and logistics and all that. But I would end up selling $30 million worth of clothes in 3 months.
So we were already cleared of that debt, and we were just ready to rock, and we just kept going.
Around 98, we would probably hit about $350 million in sales annually. We would compete with all the major brands, even though $350 million a year in my world is not a lot if you look at the Nikes and all those people who are doing $5 and $10 billion a year. However, we were taking shelf space from them, and they were starting to now want to do things like us.
We were in Africa, we had Milan, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, France, Germany, Japan, Korea, all over.
It spoke to youth of all cultures being unified by that concept. For us, by us.
I just remember standing on that street corner and saying, this is for us, by us. I understand what you want to wear, you understand what I want to wear. And if you're wearing this across the street and I'm wearing it over here, we silently know that we all love hip hop.
The idea of Shark Tank is you have 5 of the smartest business people in all the land.
Mark Burnett and the team called and left a voicemail. They said, yeah, so you're gonna be spending your own money. I said, goodbye. Click. When I started coming up with FUBU, it was also a reason for me to be on the video set. However, I would have paid to go on the video set to see some of these artists that I absolutely adored. But now I had hats and t-shirts. So when the security came and kicked everybody off, I would hold my hat up and go, I'm here for the artist, baby. I'm here for the artist.
They didn't have the marketing dollars to support the branding and building of an empire. So they themselves made it their business to show up to every major music video and be friends with the directors and provide the wardrobe.
We didn't even know it was called product placement back then. Like, we just knew that we needed to get our clothes seen. And we used to literally put the clothes on our artists. And as soon as they're finished, it's like, let me get that back.
I only had 10 shirts, and I would put those on the artists, and as soon as they dropped them or put them in their dressing room, I would take them back from them.
And they're like, you really? Like, yeah, I'm gonna send you one. Like, I got you.
LL Cool J is, the main artist that we loved. Him and Run DMC were the main artists that we loved from my neighborhood. I was able to go on the tours, and because we had on our license, Farmers Boulevard, Hollis, Queens, we'd immediately tell all the security we're LL's cousins. So LL had 19 cousins on the tour. And we'd go there and we would push speakers around and do whatever, and then, sometimes LL would give us a job. Hey, Daymond, he would give me a bag of his dirty underwear and say, you're going back to Hollis, Queens, take this home to my grandmother.
I've been rhyming since I was 9 years old,
LL Cool J had started in the hip-hop business as a young adolescent. By the time FUBU came around, he had transitioned from just being a hip-hop artist. He had moved into acting, both television and film. It was a perfect opportunity for Daymond to capitalize on a pre-existing relationship and friendship and formalize it into a substantial business relationship.
We would then sign LL Cool J to be our spokesperson. LL took it so far from just his regular duty. He got called by The Gap to do an ad, and he just felt that they didn't really respect hip-hop. They were trying to use the vehicle only to bring customers in their store.
Unbeknownst to The Gap, I guess they gave a complete okay for LL Cool J to write rap lyrics that he's going to recite in the commercial.
AP Gritty, ready to go, for us, by us, on the low.
He would say, for us, by us, on the low. It shook up The Gap. They would spend millions of dollars airing a FUBU ad, not knowing it. The entire hip-hop community were just dying laughing. I couldn't believe it even happened.
Everybody in the hood was like, oh my God, did you hear LL rap about FUBU?
To be able to hustle, maneuver, and navigate a Gap commercial to push FUBU, think about that. That's hustling.
FUBU got its first national TV campaign at a $0 expense.
We had this BT reality show that we were supposed to do. We were supposed to be like the first BT reality show. So everybody was on board, except Daymond. And we were like, dude, like this is a great opportunity for us. And he was like, I don't know.
Mark Burnett and the team called and left a voicemail on my office phone. I called back and they said, well, we want you to be on a show. We saw you on a couple of other shows, and we know that you know how to break down a pitch, and are you interested in being on a show? I said, absolutely. They said, yeah, so you're gonna be spending your own money. I said, goodbye. Click.
Daymond John is a fashion mogul and branding expert.
I call myself the People Shark because other people have said you really are here for the people, and I just really enjoy investing in people.
Since the very beginning of Shark Tank, myself and my whole family, actually, we're kind of Shark Tank junkies.
The idea of Shark Tank is you have 5 of the smartest business people in all the land, in theory.
This category got hot for a second, is downtrending. I would have to take a gamble with you, and it would be.
Let's take a risk. Let's do it together.
But what you really have is you have 5 self-made people who made something of themselves, and people come in, they have a dream, they have an idea, and we help fund it.
Our product is a sleep and sanity saver for parents and babies everywhere.
As people are pitching him, he's able to see if they have what it takes because he's been in those shoes before.
You got a deal, buddy.
Thanks.
What's been the most successful investment thus far?
Well, I have 2. One is called Al Bubba Baker's Boneless Ribs. I'm glad I got that all out. That is my most successful. And my other one is called Bombas Socks. They give a pair of socks to the homeless or everyone that they sell.
Our company is Bombas, and we're here today seeking $200,000 in exchange for a 5% equity stake.
When they came in, they were talking about, I said, I'm doing socks. Well, I got a warehouse with 1 million pairs of FUBU socks.
All along, our #1 shark was Daymond. He's the one with the apparel experience. It just seemed like the best fit for us.
You know that scene in those movies in the ER where they're bringing the patient and the heart is slowly boop, 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 boop. Paddle
Hysterical. It was an item that didn't cost that much, but the margins were huge and they were growing. And I bet on them, and it's been an absolutely amazing ride and education for me.
You have a deal.
We'll take the deal.
Daymond's really good at finding winners, and he's very good at mentoring people.
We text and call on a regular basis. He shows up to meetings with us. It's really been an incredible relationship.
All right, guys, great decision. I love working with budding entrepreneurs because it reminds me of me when I was younger. It gives me that energy. I'm giving them the fundamentals, but they're giving me the updated knowledge on how to do business. And I love working with them. They make me smarter every single day. And they realized I had a rock-size marble stage 2 cancer in my throat. I have been holding back the secret to success for many years. I finally found out what it was.
Oh, really?
I didn't want to share it with anybody, but I'm going to share it with you today.
It's a good day to do that.
I'm going to share it with you today.
Okay.
Work. Bust your butt. Get up before everybody, go to sleep after everybody, and bust your butt. That's it. Sorry, that's it.
What can others learn from Daymond? Bottom line is just hard work pays off. No matter what, you can make it happen. It's all on you. And that's why Daymond is who he is.
Hope is the bedrock of this nation. The belief that our destiny will not be written for us, but by us.
The first time I met Barack Obama, he was not president, he was running for president, and I walk up to him and he goes, one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time. I turn around and look for Henry Ford or Bill Gates, and nobody's around, and it's me.
When I met President Obama, he complimented me on how great of a son I raised.
We call them our ambassadors for global entrepreneurship. They do not have to be confirmed by the Senate.
I would become a presidential ambassador for global entrepreneurship, a page ambassador under President Obama.
We've got a shark here named Daymond John.
As a mom, my heart was like out of my chest. So it was just a total honor, something I never dreamt of.
It's just been a great journey working with him. I didn't really realize that I was dyslexic until I was probably in my 30s when two-way pagers came out.
And he started writing to me, and then he kept spelling these words wrong. And I'm like, D, that's not how you spell that.
People started saying, what the hell are you talking about? And because it would be backwards, or I would be, you know, the sentences would be misplaced. And then, GPS came out. As soon as I was looking at my GPS, and as soon as it said right, I always turned left. It would take me 5 hours to get down the block. So I started to look further into it, and I got tested, and I realized I was dyslexic.
For him to be dyslexic, I didn't really know it. I just knew he was a bright mind, and he got it done.
I'm a kid that grew up 30 miles from here. It took me 30 years to get 30 miles, right, to the city.
Daymond is of a generation when you had dyslexia, which meant that you were just stupid and you didn't listen in class and you were sent to the back of the class.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for coming out.
He has embraced dyslexia, and that's why he's such an overachiever. And no, I'm going to prove them wrong.
As much as we've shared today, talking about business, you don't have business without your health.
I have a thyroid condition, and it took them about 25 years before they could pin it down. And I told Daymond, when you go for your physical, make sure they check your thyroid.
So I go down and I run through these machines for 2 days. They said there's a nodule on my thyroid, you should get it checked out. I go get it checked out. The doctor says, you have a lump on your thyroid, and I go into the surgery. The surgery is supposed to be 1 hour. My family's outside. The surgery becomes 3.5 hours. And they realized I had a rock-sized marble stage 2 cancer in my throat, and that it was slowly spreading to my lymph nodes, into my brain.
I was concerned as a friend. I was concerned because, we've been best friends for, almost 35 years. I was glad that he attacked it early and got to it early so it didn't, turn into anything else.
But I realized that entrepreneurs don't take care of themselves. They take care of everybody else, and I started to go public about it. I've been having an amazing time sharing this message with people and getting people to urge their family to go get tested for themselves. And I've gotten hundreds of letters of people who said they think that I saved their life. I think the toughest part of a journey of an entrepreneur, which a lot of people don't speak about, is the dedication it takes. And I'll never know if the sacrifices of losing my first marriage was worth it. But I think that I'd be a workaholic whether I was working at Red Lobster or sanitation. But more importantly, I think that we're in this time where everybody glamorizes just go out and do it and be an entrepreneur or be an intrapreneur. And as we look at the things that have happened, such as Anthony Bourdain or Kate Spade, we're in a day and age where as much as we're connected, we're disconnected.
Chef and globe-trotting TV host Anthony Bourdain was found dead this morning in his hotel room in France.
And what happens is mental health is such a challenge as an entrepreneur, and as being somebody who's an advocate for people taking care of their health. And I think that I try to share that as much with people through my books and through my speaking, that you are human, and that if you don't take care of your body, whether it's the cancer that thank God I beat or your mental health, then you're not going to be good to anybody.
I've always taught him to look up, to aim for higher, to aim for bigger, to aim for better.
I know when we started FUBU, there were so many people who said we couldn't, we would never be able to start a clothing line. And we were like, okay, really? Okay, all right. You sit right there and you wait. And we went and we did what we needed to do, and we proved them wrong.
Anybody can have an idea. It's how do you focus, apply it, and then go against all odds, and then still take it to the next level. I mean, that's what FUBU was all about. It was literally David versus Goliath.
When you grow up in the situation and circumstances Daymond did, it's easy to believe that that's your destiny. There's a certain amount of bravery that's required to say, I'm gonna rise above this. Not in an arrogant way, but I'm gonna rise above this.
When he inspires other people, it really comes from the heart, and it's genuine. and it's not a ploy to get, to put himself out there.
It's important to Daymond that people realize they can achieve whatever they want to achieve if they put their mind to it and if they work hard. And it's not out of this world to have a dream. No dream is impossible.
I'm African American, I'm short, I'm dyslexic, I can't play a sport, I got left back, my father wasn't around after 10 or 12 years old, I never went to college, I don't have a formal education, I didn't know anything about this industry, but yet I'm here. And if I can do it, anybody in the world can do it. Anybody in the world can do it.
Life has been so amazing to me. It's not been easy. I think about the things that have happened to me in the past that have made me a stronger person. It's not unlike what you've been through as well. You're just like me, you're battle tested, you're baptized by the fire. I never met a strong person that had an easy past. Don't tell people your dreams, you show them to them.